Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maswedera. If you're new here, karibu sana. Today let's talk about being diagnosed with gestational diabetes during pregnancy. Gestational diabetes is only diagnosed during pregnancy, guys. So you all know that I have PCOS. And when you have PCOS, the chances of you developing gestational diabetes go up. Your pregnancy is not like the kawaida pregnancy, so it is expected that you may have a few complications. Now let's jump into my experience. So at around 10 weeks, my gynecologist suggested that we do a HbA1c. This test actually tells you how your blood sugars, your insulin levels rather, have been over the last 3 months. So I went and I did my HbA1c and they were alarmingly high. My sugars were around 12. 12 is so high. 12 is so high. So immediately I booked an appointment with him. I went to his office and he told me that unfortunately he has to put me on insulin shots. It wasn't easy. Him telling me that I have to give myself insulin shots twice or thrice a day was not easy. Actually, the thing is, I grew up seeing my mom give my grandmother insulin shots, but I never thought that I'd experience the same, that I'd give myself shots instead. So that day when I went to his office and was told that I have to use insulin, he showed me how to use basically how to inject myself. And the thing is, I could not leave his office until I had administered my first shot. That was the only way he was sure that I'd be able to manage my blood sugars. Man, I sat in his office for around 3 hours. I would take the needle and aim it. I was actually to do it on my thighs. Yeah. I would take the sindano, aim it at pinch. You're supposed to pinch where you're going to injection site, that is. I pitched my thigh for around 3 hours, guys, and aim where I would take the shot. But it was so difficult. The first time you're doing something, it's never easy. But I did man up, and finally I did it. It was not easy. The first shot, I promise you, I can't say it. Right now I'm laughing about it, but the first time was not easy. It was traumatic. But then after that, things got easier. It became like a norm, I'd say, like a norm. Giving myself shots in the AM and in the PM. It became a norm. So yeah. So if you're out there and you've just been diagnosed with gestational diabetes or type 2 diabetes and you're pregnant, girl, I know you can do this. Because we need that baby safe and sound, eh? So just take the insulin shots to manage your sugars. Diabetes, that does give you more complications during pregnancy. I developed something called polyhydramnios. This means that my body was making much more amniotic fluid as compared to basically a person who's not sick. Every visit I went to the gyna, he would measure how much amniotic fluid I had, and it kept on increasing month, or let's say visit by visit. I'd visit him after every 4 weeks. So my belly grew, it stretched so much. I even became itchy at some point. My belly was just itching all the time because it's been really stretched. So many people actually thought that I was carrying multiples, but in reality I was only carrying one baby. But my amniotic fluid was so much. So if your belly is growing, if you have a very big belly, I would also suggest that you go to a gynecologist. If you're going to a regular clinic, you can have a scan and let them measure how much amniotic fluid you have, because this can actually help them know if you have developed type 2 diabetes. Unfortunately, it's not everyone who's able to go to a specialist when they're pregnant, so some of these cases are missed out. For instance, during my first pregnancy, that is with my daughter, I was very huge, but unfortunately I was never tested for gestational diabetes, and my belly was so huge. It was huge for a first pregnancy. So my gynecologist actually tells me that he actually thinks that I developed gestational diabetes with my first pregnancy, only that it was not diagnosed. But fortunately, with the second pregnancy, I was able to go to a specialist. So right, I was talking about polyhydramnios. Yes, polyhydramnios makes your belly to stretch because you have so much of that amniotic fluid. So you have to be monitored every step of the way, because it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. This condition makes you have so many complications. I would honestly not wish it to anyone, but unfortunately people are developing type 2 diabetes. People are having gestational diabetes. Some are because of our lifestyle, others because of things that cannot be explained, possibly spiritual, but we pray to God that these conditions go away, because it is only God who can heal us. The other complication that I had is I developed a low-lying placenta. So I don't know how to say this in layman's term, but basically my placenta was lying at the opening of my cervix. So I was put on complete bed rest, because being put on complete bed rest means you cannot work, you can't do heavy duty rather, and you cannot have sex. Yes, you cannot have sex because there's a possibility of you bleeding, and that is what we are trying to prevent. So complete bed rest means no sex until the placenta moves. So mine did not move until, let's say, my placenta moved at around 33 weeks, because at the time I had already been admitted in the hospital, so I was being closely monitored. I also had to use progesterone. Progesterone helps you not have a miscarriage, or rather not lose the baby. So I discovered I was pregnant a day before my period. So I went to the gynecologist and he put me on progesterone. The kind of progesterone I used, I had to insert in my lady parts. I had to insert them in my lady parts, and I used progesterone. I believe I used to insert one, God, I can't recall if it was 1 tablet or 2 tablets in a day. I can't recall, but wow, let me tell you, it was so messy. I had to, girls, let's be honest, we don't like wearing panties when we're pregnant, but I had no choice because of the discharge. So I had to use a panty liner. I could not walk without a panty liner. And you know, when you're pregnant, you have so much discharge, eh? So imagine on top of that, having discharge from that capsule. Pregnancy is sweet, but sometimes it's a bit difficult, eh? But through it all I have to say is thank you to God, because He was with me throughout that journey. Pregnancy with diabetes takes God. Let me just say that it takes God, because I went into labor at 34 weeks. When I clocked 34 weeks is when I went into spontaneous labor. Let's talk about that in my next vlog. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly do. Can we engage on the comment section? Tell me how your experience has been, whether with gestational diabetes, with type 2 diabetes, with a low-lying placenta, with a high BP. I'll share how my experience has been with my third pregnancy, whereby I had actually high BP. So guys, let's engage on the comment section. Share my videos, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, bye bye.